All right, everybody, welcome to an extremely important edition of Teaching Crypto. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Hit that like, super chats, and the stores are open. If you are a Voyager person, this is an extremely important show. Please pay attention to the very end. We're going to break everything down, but Mr. FOMO, we finally got information today about the second payout, and we've got some good info here. So I want you guys to take a look at this. First thing that comes to my attention, 34.28. That's higher than the 30%. Now, if you are watching this tomorrow, checks are beginning to be mailed July 31st. Today is July 30th. That is great to hear. That means the checks should start coming in as early as Monday of next week. Maybe you get a check on Saturday. I don't know. Never know. But here we go. Second distribution will begin July 31st, 2024. They got it up to 589 million. So you want to go to your claim amount. So let's just pretend, just for round numbers, that your claim amount is $100,000. Well, then yes, you should be receiving a check for $34,000 over $34,000 and $34,208. Absolutely. Check only, remember, crypto is long gone. So with your initial distribution, now it's kind of tricky because not everyone got the same initial distribution. You should be somewhere around 70%. Obviously, and we got this money back before, we'd be doing much, much better, because if you would have bought Bitcoin with this money 12 months ago, well, you'd be well over 100% of your, remember, this is the number that you were frozen at when they froze everyone's account. So what is your initial reaction to getting the 34.28? We were looking at 30 as best case, so this is a nice surprise.
I am excited. I actually was looking when we first saw the numbers and first crunched the numbers way back when, before they started arbitration, or mediation, excuse me. I thought we were getting something closer to 22%. So seeing us getting over 30% is, I'm excited. I'm going to have a cigar tonight. I think I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah. Now, they got $11 million back from clawbacks. That's a little over 0.5% of recovery. So that didn't do much. Whatever. Anything's anything. Okay. So Three Arrows Capital, they actually did get, Mr. FOMO, a decent amount. They received 20.43. Now, again, that's only 1% recovery. Okay. And then they got 19 more million. So, you know, they're hoping for someday to get 677.47 million. That's never going to happen. Just the fact that we're now over 39 million from Three Arrows Capital, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that they even got that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Paul and his team. One, for getting the checks out. Two, for getting blood from rocks like 3AC. I mean, that is one that we thought was dead and gone. We're never going to see any money from 3AC. And here they are forking over a little bit of the cash. I think what amounts to close to 2%. Now, that is a fraction of what we loaned out to them. So they're still on the hook for over 600 million. So hopefully.
Well, here's what I do like. If you look at the paperwork here, additional distributions expected over the next few years as assets are liquidated. I don't love the next few years. That I don't love at all. You know, I'm hoping that 2025, this is over. Remember, they still have, I think, over $100 million of, I don't know how much of that is left, of company money that they could distribute to us and call it a day. And I honestly think they should. But because I don't know how much you're getting out of 3AC. I mean, again, time is money.
Yeah, I mean, we said they were going to get zero out of 3AC, and they ended up getting something.
Who knows? Maybe they get another 20 million in a year. I don't know. But as Paul told you, this is probably the last distribution of 2024. Now, here's what I find interesting. We knew they went after Ehrlich for more money, engaged in mediation with Voyager's former directors and obvious resulting in a pending $14.35 million. Remember, the Voyager people claimed they did everything right. They had nothing more to give. Remember, Steve claimed he had only a little over $1 million to his name, and everyone else on the team wasn't involved. Whoa! Look at that! Looky here. Here's another $14 million. What a scumbag! If you missed our last episode, he showed up at the Bitcoin conference incognito, almost trying to squirrel his way
blinking around.
Got someone kicked out that watches the show. He's a disaster of a human being. That's the nicest way I can put it and keep it family friendly. But your reaction to we were saying for now almost 2 years, these guys were trying to sell you something when they knew they were going bankrupt. And this doesn't make me completely feel better, but it gives us some vindication that they were able to get this extra 14 million, even though in the big scope of things, that's not a huge amount of recovery.
Yeah, never forget that they knew that they were going under and still sold a dead product to us.
VGX 2.0, don't forget.
Right. And, I'm glad to see them get a little bit of money out of them, but that doesn't amount to 1% for the creditor. So it still stings that they're getting away without really giving back a lot of money, especially Steve. And to see him slinking around the Bitcoin conference, knowing that he hurt so many people, it's just disgusting. So I'm glad to see this Voyager news coming out to sort of counter that, because that is just, like you said, let's keep it family friendly.
Well, he came out of hiding from the Caribbean. And Steve, if I were you, why don't you do us a favor and go back to hide in the Caribbean? We don't need to see your face anymore. Unless you're
Don't go to the Caribbean, go to hell.
That's right. Here we go. There's some things I want to say, but I'll just keep them to myself. I don't want to. No, I just can't do it. All right. Interesting. They say they continue to investigate and pursue other claims with details to be disclosed when appropriate. Okay. Again, though, you got to remember, every 20 million is only 1%. So maybe they can go after some more people. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. The initial distribution. A total of 604 million was distributed. That was the 35.72 that's at the beginning. Some creditors failed to deposit the check, totaling, this is kind of sad, 16 million on unclaimed checks. Unclaimed checks as of April 20th, 2024 are canceled and deemed unclaimed, with proceeds returned to the General Recovery Fund. It's kind of sad, but it does happen. Now, double check, triple check if you haven't done so. We've been telling you to do this for months and months on investvoyager.com, that the address is correct. If it's not, it's going to that address that you have on there. So you might want to make a road trip because that, for some of you, I know that's a lot of money and you don't want someone else getting a hold of that check. But again, this is great news. If checks are mailed tomorrow, and as you're watching the show, we're recording live July 30th. Monday morning, a lot of people are going to be getting their checks. And so that's really, really exciting.
Yes. And I think we need to emphasize, you're getting a check. There is nobody is going to send you crypto that is gone,
Mm-hmm.
that has been
Yes,
gone.
be careful. There's already people trying to scam. I already heard of someone saying they were trying to pretend to be Voyager and saying, hey, I need your updated information now. I'm going to send you this. No, he's not contacting you, ladies and gentlemen. Paul is not contacting you. You have an address that you registered with them, and it's coming. I would say anytime in the next 7 days, you should be sent check. Tomorrow is not realistic. If they're sending them out tomorrow, you're probably not getting them tomorrow, but any day next week. And if you don't get a check in the next 10 days, I would definitely contact them for sure. Because that probably means something has gone wrong. Honestly, if you don't get a check and then by next Friday, not this Friday, by next Friday, that's an issue. So if they send them out,
remember they're sending the checks out in batches. They're sending the checks out in batches over the next several weeks. So it's not going to be you're not necessarily going to get a check in that first batch. So I don't know if this coming Friday would necessarily be a bad thing. It just might mean that you're in the next batch of checks. But certainly, I think after a couple of weeks, I'd say you need to contact somebody.
I would assume by mid-August, all the checks would have been sent out for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Now, I've got more good news for you. Well, kind of. What do you do with those checks if you're going to stay in Bitcoin and crypto? Well, we've had a crazy last 48 hours, and now, Mr. FOMO, we're back towards 66K. In fact, we're sitting right now at 66K. So what is your reaction towards that as I pull up? Charge being a bit frisky here, but you see the 1 day here. And let us not forget, we had that brief moment in history at 70K a few days ago, and someone was complaining, oh, it barely touched 70K. Don't worry. We'll get back to 70K this month. Mr. FOMO won't have to. And I'm holding myself to the 80K by October 1st. We don't get
I don't think they were necessarily upset that it only touched 70K for an instant. I think they were upset that I took myself out of the bet because it only touched 70K.
Well, I said 80 by the end of October. I'm moving my thing up to early October. I'm expecting 80K around October 1st or before. So if it doesn't happen, I'll save my hair as well. How about that?
I would agree with that viewer. I definitely did cop out on that one, but I got my 70K and I'm sticking to it.
Well, here's the deal. 66K, guys. Again, do your own research, not financial advice. But I'm very, very bullish on Bitcoin over the next 3 months. There will be pullbacks along the way. We expect the holiday pullback. But again, I still do. You might think I'm crazy. I still do expect 100K Bitcoin in the year 2024. And so at 66K, whatever you're getting back, you put that into Bitcoin, you should see a substantial return. Obviously, there are altcoins that could do much, much better. We've talked about the Soul Trains. The Soul Train has retraced all the way back to 179 this week because of Bitcoin. It did get up to 193. Not financial advice. If you do get your check in the next few days and you want to take a look at the Soul Train and you don't just want to do Bitcoin, we talked about some of the other tokens. There was even news today. I mentioned Avalanche the other day, and we'll get into more of this on Friday, that Avalanche was partnering with the state of California. A real partnership. We'll see if that actually comes true. But Avalanche right now is sitting at a 10 billion market cap, $26.33, all-time high, $147.50. There is a ton of opportunity. So a lot of you are getting a large percentage back. You want to keep it on this program. We will give you the latest. If anything changes with the checks, you come right here. We will tell you, and we will keep you updated on anything crypto. But great news, Mr. FOMO, because now people will have their checks, and it's 2024. So you can just take your phone and deposit right there, right on time. And then you'll tell your wife, you can tell your wife later that you stuck it into Azios network, Mr. FOMO. Well, hopefully she's not watching the show. As soon as the check comes, it's coming right from your bank into your crypto wallet, into Azios network. Your wife will never be of the wiser.
That's right. She's already fully aware. Yeah, when that distribution check comes in, I plan to make sure that it gets redeployed in the market to make sure that it grows, because we were down when that snapshot was taken. So I've got to do some work to get it back to where it was.
Yeah, and so keep it here, guys, because we will give you the latest. Good news tonight. I'm glad for everyone out there. It's been a long, long time. Still got a ways to go for a lot of people.
Celebrate.
Yeah, but you know, life's short, so take some time. And it's a small win for a lot of people in a really, really long nightmare scenario. By the way, FTX people haven't got anything back yet. Remember, they were promised 100%. You know how these things go. There's a lot of promises, and a lot of promises are broken. So this thing has been far from smooth, and it's taken way longer.
Take that money and treat yourself.
But to get 70% back at this point of that initial amount that you were told when they froze your accounts. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing. And let's hope there's another distribution early 2025, and let's hope that gets people close to 100%. But again, you want to maximize this opportunity. We are still right in the middle of getting back into a bull run. We had that bear. If you haven't been watching this channel, come back to us. We've got some great picks for you on Friday, so stay tuned. And Mr. FOMO, anything else to say before we wrap it up?
Let's get those checks, and let's use those checks to get back to 100%. Let's not wait for that final distribution. Let's use those checks and get ourselves back to 100%.
All right, guys, please share the show with as many people as you can. If you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button. Super chats and the store are open. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. You guys have a wonderful evening.
See ya.